Okay, all of you. So now we are going to learn the next type of function, which is function with argument without return type. Now, first of all, we have discussed that the type of function was void sum and the bracket was empty and there some lines were there and bracket closed. So at that time we have learned that there was no return type and no argument was there, and if I call this function, so I have to write simply sum, no argument, no return type. That is the calling of that function. After that we have learned that int sum bracket was empty and there was something and we have provided return because function is returning something and there was no argument. So what was the calling of that function? To call that function we have to take some variable, let us suppose a, so that this value can come after returning, and the name of function and bracket was empty because there was no argument, and this was the return type. And in this program, we are going to learn function with argument. So this time we are saying the sum. Now in this bracket, I will write certain argument. Argument means, let us suppose that I will say int a, that is the argument we are passing. And without return value is void. So bracket is there. As the return value is void, so there will be no return, bracket close. Now how to call this function? To call this function, we are having sum. There is no return type, so nothing before that. And in the bracket, I will pass on certain value. The value can be passed or variable can be passed. Let us suppose that I am passing a variable. Let us suppose that a. So that is the same method we are using. So now we are going to see this program. We can check that there is a sum. Sum is the user defined name of the function. And we know that this is the function and that is the main program, which is called the calling program also. So here sum is the function, void is the return type. Return type means there is no return type. Now here we can see that two arguments are passed. Two arguments are passed. What that mean? Means these two arguments, these two values are given by the user to this function. If we go to the calling, you can see that sum a comma b, that means this a value is given by the user to the function. Similarly, this b value is given by the user to the function. Now function is not asking for a and b values by itself. These values are not called by the function. Calling program main function is going to give the value to the function. So that's why we give the arguments. Whenever we are giving the arguments, that means the calling program or the void main is going to give the values to the function itself. There is not requirement to take the value of those variables by the function. So function will not take the values of a and b now. Function is only doing the calculation and printing the output. And there is no return type because there is a void. That's why there is nothing behind the sum. So that is the difference between the previous program and the this program, where we are having the function with argument and without return type. Now we are going to understand this program. So first of all, we are having the hash include conio.h, which is console input output for the clear screen and getch functions. Then we are having hash include stdio.h, which is standard input output for printf and scanf. Now, first of all, compiler will come to the main function, which is void main. Then program will come inside. Int ab, two variables are declared in the boundary of void main. Now screen is clear. Printf enter a and b. So the message on the user screen will be enter the value of a and b. Let us suppose the user entered the value as 12 and 12. So two values are taken. Now scanf %d for the integer values. Then and a and b means these two values are stored at the address of a and b. So 12 and 12, these two values are stored at the a and b. Now sum means a function is there. So compiler will check out that sum function is available. It will check above and find yes, the function is available. Then compiler will see that int a, int b means this function contain two arguments of integer type. Now, if any function contain two arguments, then that value must be given by the main program. So compiler will check that a and b, so these are there. So now this value of a will be given to the first argument. Now this a is having the value 12. Second argument value is given to the second argument and that value is 12. Now the program control is inside the function sum here and it is already having two variables a and b. So now we can assume that in the sum we are having two variables a and b having the value 12 and 12 which are given by the main program. Now if I have to make the sum of these two variables, we will say take one more variable int c. Taking the sum c is equal to a plus b. So one variable is declared that is inside the boundary of sum. And because a and b values are already passed, so c value is now 24. Now printf sum percentage d c. So now this c will give the value to percentage d and the sum is printed as 24. So now on the user screen sum is printed as 24. Now if I don't want to take this c variable, I can directly write printf sum percentage d a plus b. In that case, I don't have to take the variable. So that is also the optional part. Now after executing the complete function, program will come back to the same place where it was started. There is no return value, so nothing is returned back to the main program and get ch4 holding the screen and program will come out. So there if I take the output, you can see that enter a and b, user has entered 12 and 12 and the output is sum 24. So this way we have learned function with argument and without return type.